Hey everyone, welcome to today's episode of the Beljanski Cancer Talk Show. We're thrilled to welcome Dr. Friedman, a pioneer in the lymphatic health and integrative medicine. With over 30 years of experience in functional medicine, detoxification, and women's health. As a directional non-force technique chiropractor and author of LymphLink, he specializes in optimizing the lymphatic system, breast health, and chronic inflammation. Dr. Friedman's dedication to education and patient care has earned her the Who's Who Award for 3 decades of achievement in lymphatic health. Get ready to take your health to the next level with a deeper understanding of the body's natural healing systems.
Hello, Dr. Friedman, and thank you for joining us on the Beljanski Cancer Talk Show. I'm delighted to have you today. It's the first time that we are having somebody involved in lymphatic massage, lymphatic drainage, and who is going to tell us about the lymphatic system. I do believe it is so important, and I love a good lymphatic drainage. How did you get involved into that? That's not that common.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me today. I am so excited to be talking to you. I started doing lymphatic drainage about 25 years ago. I've been in practice a little over 30 years. Patients weren't responding as well as I thought they should be. I'm also a directional non-force chiropractor, which means I don't do any rack 'em, stack 'em, or crack 'em. I don't pop or twist anybody. It's a very gentle, extremely effective form of chiropractic care. I'm one of 2 people in all of New York State. I'm one of 150 people in the whole country. So there's very few of us. People come from all over because we really do. We fix people quickly. What I do in 6 or 8 visits, traditional chiropractic doesn't achieve in 100. The technique is solid. And when people were still suffering and still having difficulty, I wanted to fix it faster. And I thought it was all about stress. I thought it was all about their adrenals and the body just producing too much cortisol, too much inflammation. And that's what was hindering them. But you know what? These people weren't stressed. They had nice lives. They were not stressed out of their minds. And I started looking at different avenues and different channels. And actually, one of my vendors at the time went to a trade show and saw people speaking about inflammation. And she knew that's what I was interested in. So she came back, gave me the information, and I took the ball and I ran with it. And I found a machine, a 3-part light wave with an oscillating frequency that generates an electrostatic charge. And that electrostatic charge is like you walk across carpeting with your socks on and you go to touch the doorknob and you get that little shock. That's an electrostatic shock. That's what penetrates into the body and it squeezes, causes a sympathetic effect, squeezes the lymphatic vessels, and the oscillating frequency literally cleaves, chops the toxins off the lymph fluid. So not only can you get lymph fluid out of the body, but the toxicity, that's the key. That's the part that everybody misses because toxins cause the blockage and stagnation of the lymphatic fluid. That's why people develop lymphedema out of nowhere, out of the blue. All of a sudden, they start to swell because they're toxic. Same
Yeah.
thing, patients who have cancer and autoimmune diseases is because they're toxic.
Sure, but explain to me because you are speaking of fluid going out. So exactly what happens? I am walking into your the room where you are going to give the practice. What is going to happen to me?
So what's going to happen to you is, as a woman, we tend to store toxicity in our breast tissue. Okay. Study was done in 2014 where they tested women's breast tissue, tested positive for 17 different dangerous chemicals that all cause cancer and autoimmune diseases. So somebody comes in, I do a toxicity test. It's the first thing that I do in my office.
What does toxicity test look like? What does it entail? What
So
does it show?
it's a simple test. It's also referred to as an aging analysis. It's electrodes on the back of your hand, Sylvie, and the back of your foot. I put an electrical impulse into your body and it prints out an algorithm. And this algorithm correlates to cell health. So I could take a look at you on a cellular level and see if your cells are aging prematurely, if your cell membrane is shrinking, if your mitochondria aren't being oxygenated properly and you have no energy, if your cell receptors have lost their sensitivity, a first sign of prediabetes, and also a shift of fluid from inside the cell to outside the cell. That shift is indicative of toxicity. So I can tell you how toxic you are, not what kind, but how much toxicity you're walking around with. And it's that toxicity that causes health problems and issues and lymphedema.
Yeah.
Okay, so I go through the text and you have an idea of how toxic I am. And you decide that I am very toxic. Okay, then what next?
So if you're in the office, we go through all the results of the test right here immediately. I take a thorough history, go through all the results to say, this is why your symptoms are, this is why you're feeling the way you are. And we set up an appointment to do a lymphatic drainage. Again, the lymph drainage is very comfortable. It's very relaxing. People feel lightheaded. Sometimes they feel a little euphoric from the treatments, sometimes tired because they're moving the toxicity around for the first time. But you lie down on the table, make you comfortable. The lymph machine is a light bulb, okay, handmade light bulb that holds 3 noble gases. And the noble gases, when electricity is turned on, they create this electrostatic charge. So you can see a blue-violet light that's in the bulb. And this is what's used on the body. So I start with under the axilla, and then I do the left breast, and then I come back to do the right axilla and do the right breast. And what this does is this squeezes all the lymph under the arm and in the breast tissue. So women who have, let's say, lumpy, bumpy, tender breasts, goes away. Sometimes one visit, the lumpy, bumpy tenderness can go away. The swollen lymph nodes under their arms reduce themselves and get smaller. And it's a series of sessions because it takes a few minutes to get toxins out that have been there for years. So we set up appointments to do a series and people feel better.
How long is a series average?
So a session is 45 minutes to an hour.
And how many sessions people generally need?
We start with 10.
Okay.
So that gets things moving, people see results, and it starts to get the toxins out. The toxins are dumped into the ducts. You have a thoracic duct here, and you have a cisterna chyli in your trachea region. That's where the toxins go out and get dumped into your urine and your feces so they can be removed from the body.
And what is a lymphatic? What is a lymph? And then what is the fluid that it is in there?
So lymph is the other circulatory system in the body. Okay, it's just like your circulation, but it's lymphatic fluid. It doesn't have a pump like the heart. So the lymph fluid only moves with movement. That you're walking up and down stairs, moving around, exercising. That's the only way that lymph moves through the system. And the lymph is what delivers the immune response to the body. So let's say you sprain your ankle and it swells up like a grapefruit or an orange, right? That's lymphatic fluid. And that's actually an innate intelligence of the body sending the inflammation to the ankle so you don't use it. This hurts. Don't walk on it. Don't put weight on it. And that fluid should go away 4 to 6 weeks. When it doesn't go away, when it stays there and it's 8 weeks, 10 weeks later, and the inflammation is still there, that's lymphedema. Okay, there's a difference. So the fluid can get in, but it can't get out. So people, they have big arms, big legs, big bellies. You can have swelling anywhere in your body.
We are often told that when we should drink a lot and that helps keep the fluid go out. What's the difference between drinking a lot and getting lymphatic drainage?
So drinking a lot of water doesn't necessarily do anything for the toxicity. Okay, so drinking water doesn't necessarily move toxins out of your body efficiently. So toxins have to be removed. 25-30% of the population doesn't detox properly. Their liver function, phase 1, phase 2, hydroxylation, methylation doesn't work the way it's supposed to. And this is why toxins build up. And affect some people, not everybody. We're not all walking around with autoimmune diseases. We're not all walking around with cancers, but those people who do, it's because they're not detoxing properly. And I'm not talking about a cleanse. I'm talking about a metabolic detox. Your gut, your liver, your lymphatic system, your kidneys, and your lungs. So that's metabolic detox.
So the metabolic detox, fasting, all those methods for detoxic are helping to eliminate some toxins, but you are eliminating other toxins, another system filled with toxins.
I am removing toxins that attach themselves to the lymphatic system. That's how toxicity moves around the body. So it attaches itself to the lymph and it just travels along with the lymph fluid in your system. And unfortunately, the body, you could walk around with toxins for years and all of a sudden something triggers it and it makes your immune system go into overdrive. And all of a sudden you start producing a lot more lymph fluid and it doesn't have anywhere to go because the toxins are causing stagnation. So you start to fill with fluid.
You mentioned people with cancer or with immune disease. How are those people benefiting? How does it work with the other methodology to address those diseases?
With cancer patients, I'm a clinical nutritionist. So depending on the type of cancer that they have, I use all kinds of natural cancer killers. I use all kinds of immunoglobulins. I use all kinds of hormone suppressors along with the lymph. So they heal, they get better faster. They feel better, they have more energy, whatever heaviness they're walking around with, whatever fullness they're walking around with, lumbering, I can remove that quickly. So
when you say quickly, how long as an average does it take? People should expect.
it's very interesting because everybody is different. I am the only one in the country who can honestly say that I get rid of lymphedema. I have patients who've had swollen legs for years, and within 6 or 8 sessions, the fluid is gone and it doesn't come back. I've had post-op patients, they had surgery, hip replacement, and all of a sudden they developed lymphedema in their leg and very painful, muscle spasm, cramp. Again, within 8 to 10 sessions, and making dietary changes and putting them on a metabolic detox protocol, all the lymphedema is gone and it doesn't come back.
It's about one session a week.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on how much toxicity. Somebody is very toxic, I like to try to get them in twice a week for the first 2 weeks to get the toxins moving because they've been there for a long time and they're stagnant. So it takes a minute to get things rolling and to get your system moving a little more efficiently. And then once a week after that.
What are the top 3 toxins that people usually come to you with? Yeah.
So we test, okay? So I do a lot of testing. I do stool tests, I do urine tests, I do urinary hormone testing, I do saliva testing. This is what tells me exactly what toxin somebody has in their body, so I know what to target. So I'm not just throwing something on the wall to see what sticks. I know exactly what I need to remove from them. The biggest toxicity that we see is hormonal imbalance with women. Estrogen dominance, hydroestrogens, metabolites, 2s and 4s and 16s get stuck in their pathways, and this is what causes cancer. So you can see it. Heavy metals, also very big. Molds, lots and lots of molds. I would say, and plastic. So those are really the top 4. But there's tons, you know what I mean? There's a lot more, but those are the top 4, I would say.
So tests are in addition to the electrode things that you told us about earlier?
Yes, the testing, once we do the cell test and I get the results and I see how much toxicity somebody has in their system, I ask them to do further testing so we can identify exactly what that toxicity is. So I'm not operating blindly. And like I said, we do stool tests, we do a urinary hormone test for women's hormones, and we do a total tox burden that looks at all the environmental toxins, including the PFASs, the forever chemicals that are in the water that people are exposed to.
And how different is a protocol from another based on this information of what kind of toxins your patient is loaded with?
All the protocols are slightly different. If somebody comes in and they have a hormonal imbalance, then I'm going to target blocking the high estrogen levels, getting the hormone pathways moving appropriately, focusing on, it's almost always with everyone, it's focusing on liver detoxification, phase 1, phase 2, hydroxylation and methylation, getting the liver back its ability to get toxins out, to move the garbage that's in us out of us as quickly as possible. So I use tinctures, I use tonics, I use powders, I use pills, whatever's necessary for the patient.
And what part of your approach is nutritional and how much is lymphatic drainage?
I go through nutritional things with all the patients in terms of removing inflammatory foods from their diet, very important. Removing dairy, sugars, flours, grains for the most part, except for quinoa and buckwheat. And then it's a matter of what's going on with them, with their lean muscle and their body fat ratios, because we can also see that with the testing results. So if somebody's got 40% body fat, 60% lean muscle, that's not a great ratio. To improve your protein intake, natural, organic, antibiotic, hormone, steroid-free meats, organic fruits and vegetables, things to that extent. And I'm always available for questions. I tell people, if you're going shopping to buy food and you have a question, just text me. I'd rather you get it right than you get it wrong.
That's awesome. And I'm curious about, is there any other particular foods that people are eating, or either foods or activities that people are doing on a day-to-day basis that people come to you with that are wrong, whether if it's drinking from tap water, whether if it's eating chips? What are the top 3 things that people are typically doing that they need to stop doing?
Okay. Fast food is a no-no. Okay. I don't care how good you think the Chick-fil-A is. It's a no-no. Any kind of diet sodas, any kind of diet drinks, anything with artificial sweeteners in it. I have 20-something-year-olds that come to see me that have cell membranes of 60-year-olds. That they're shrinking because they're eating garbage. And all of the snack food is poison. It's all toxic. You tell me that you think eating Cheetos is healthy, or Doritos is healthy, or the little things with the cheese in it. The cheese is plastic. Literally, it's plastic. It's not real food. It's plastic. So, yeah, it's not all of that stuff.
Got it. That's interesting.
You mentioned at the beginning about the women with breast cancer, hormonal imbalance. What about the men?
Discover the incredible journey in winning the war on cancer, the epic journey towards a natural cure. Written by Sylvie Beljanski, this book is a testament of resilience, hope, and a fresh take on cancer treatment. Michelle Kagan, former Health Sciences Institute editor, says winning the war on cancer offers an eye-opening glimpse into natural cancer cures and the many lives they've saved and changed. Since being published, Winning the War on Cancer, the epic journey towards a natural cure has garnered various awards, including being the #1 bestseller on Amazon in the holistic health category, #2 bestseller in the health and oncology category, plus being the winner of the onlinebookclub.org's Book of the Year. Get the book, support the foundation, save lives. Available at beljanski.org/book in ebook, audiobook, and paperback formats. Use code EP1 at checkout for free shipping.
I see male patients as well, men who they get different kinds of cancer. Sometimes men get breast cancer. It's not as common, but they'll get lesions or lumps that are cancerous. I see men for a variety of things. Prostate, they're a little higher on the colorectal cancer end of things. I see patients with stomach cancer a little more often in men, but I also see men who just want to feel better. Their energy is low. They're not sleeping. I had a patient, a 30-something-year-old in Arizona. He was a police officer, and he couldn't pick his head off the pillow. This was going on for a year, and he saw everybody. He went to everyone. He just could not figure it out. I had a long intake with him, and he had a stressful event go on. One of his coworkers got shot, and he had to hold down the scene while everybody else got there. His wife had shared that with me. I asked him a whole bunch of questions, but things like, so have you put on 10 or 15 pounds recently? Just like right around the belly, like a muffin top? He's, yeah, and I can't get rid of it. I'm like, It was all cortisol. It was all stress. His adrenals were off the chart. I don't know why nobody could figure it out in Arizona. This is not rocket science. I sent him a whole bunch of supplements that he needed. I supported his mitochondria function, oxygenation. I put him on things for his adrenal glands. And within 2 weeks, he started sleeping. He had more energy. He said, "You gave me my life back. Thank you." Because it was really going down the crapper. His wife, his marriage, his child, his job was all just slipping away.
So if I go to see you, first it starts with this testing, then some kind of nutritional consultation. Then I go on your mat and you do this lymphatic drainage with little machine, right? And that takes for how long, this lymphatic drainage?
It's a 45-minute to an hour session.
Okay.
So you'll be relaxed. You may be a little lightheaded. You may feel a little euphoric. Most people enjoy it. It's a very relaxing treatment. People go home, they sleep better, right out of the blocks.
And then, so there are about 10 sessions like that, right? And how after that, is there a measurement of how do I know if I have got rid of my toxicity? How do I measure the results?
The testing that we do when the results come in, they take about 10 to 15 days. So we start with the lymph because it's the fastest way to start moving toxins out. Once you get the test results back, then we have something a little more concrete to focus on and to look at. Those tests are repeated in about a year. They're not cheap, they're expensive tests, and unfortunately, a lot of the results are objective. The needle doesn't necessarily move a whole lot, but people do feel better very quickly. It's a little more subjective than anything else.
I assume if you get rid of, your lymphatic system is eliminating the mold, or you are able to measure that. Or heavy metals, you are able to measure that, right?
Yeah. So we do thermographies to take a look at all the lymphatic congestion that's going on in the body. I have a woman here in the city who does all my thermographies for me. She's very good, Patricia Liccardi. So you can see the congestion starting to break up, starting to leave the body. That's an objective measurement that we use often.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome. Do you have any other books or events or materials you'd like to promote for our podcast listeners?
Oh, sure. I have a book called The Lymph Link. It's on my website, Synergy Health Associates. It's also on Amazon. It came out a few years ago. I don't think you can see it with this light. People enjoy it. It's a nice read. It's an easy read. I explain a lot of information to people about the lymphatic system because not only do patients not know the lymphatic system, but the doctors don't know anything about the lymphatic system. They have no idea what to do with these patients. They send them for lymph massage, doesn't work. They send them for compression treatment, doesn't work. And they're like, they finally find me and then find me. They see me on Instagram or somebody told them or mentioned it. And they're like, why didn't anybody tell me? I'm like, because they don't know. They just don't know. They're not educated to learn more. They know what they know, and that's all they want to know. They don't want to open up to all the alternative treatments that are available that work. And I'm really focusing on the fact that patients need to know that we are not the last resort. They need to come to us right there out of the blocks where they get diagnosed with a cancer or some autoimmune disease. Whatever treatment they choose, they need to come to us at the same time because the doctors also don't know that the supplements that you sell, the tinctures that I use, the natural hormone blockers that I use don't interfere. They don't interfere with chemotherapy. And the doctor's like, no, don't do that. Don't you show me a study where vitamin C interferes with chemotherapy. You show me a study where a patient can't go for a vitamin C drip or go for a vitamin B12 drip, that it's going to interfere with chemo. Give me a break. They're just not educated and they don't want to listen. They're like, no. And patients need to know this. They need to know that they need to do both things in conjunction, not one or the other. They need to do it simultaneously. And so you keep them off heavy duty antioxidants. That interferes with chemo. There are a lot of other things that they can take besides heavy-duty antioxidants that work. I use a biologically active protein that I've been using for decades that Sloan Kettering approves this. Some other from some Queens hospital told the patient, no, don't take that. It increases appetite. It keeps your white blood cell count up. And I'm like, you go tell your doctor that Sloan authorizes this, that they recommend this to their patients. Tell him to learn, okay? Not to be so blinded by his ignorance. So, yeah, I get very upset because patients...
We see that.
You're very passionate.
Your patients suffer. They suffer needlessly. It's so sad.
It is so right. And that's why we have tried to have this information on the Belgian Cancer Talk Show, where you can get information that we don't hear everywhere, because otherwise, what would be the point of having this podcast?
Look at your stuff. It's brilliant that it kills cancer, that it protects the healthy cells, that it kills the bad cells, that the fragments of messenger RNA, that it can destroy that the residual, that the cancer's still in your system. You don't want it there. You want to get it out. There's all this new testing, the Natera test, the RGCC. There's
And we have studies also showing the synergy of action between chemotherapies and all the plants that we are working with.
Yes, exactly. And it's not going to hurt them. It's only going to help them. They need to know that. So yeah, I'm doing a series about that because people need to know. They really need to know that they need to step up right in the beginning, not wait until chemo and radiation don't work and they have stage 4 and they're looking for a miracle. They do happen, but they don't always happen.
So for people who want to do something for their health, where can they find you?
Oh, I'm around.
Can you tell us more?
Yeah, I've been in practice for 31 years. I'm on 5th Avenue and 14th Street, right in the heart of Union Square.
In New York, in Manhattan, in New York.
New York. My website is Synergy Health Associates with an S, plural. You can follow me on Instagram, same thing, Synergy Health Associates. My book, like I said, is available on the website, or you could get it on Amazon.
What is the title again of the book?
Lymphatic.
Very good.
People really enjoy it. They call me all the time. Oh my God, I love your book. I enjoyed reading it. I'm reading it a second time. I'm like, really? Wow. Okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, I'm like, did I say that? I don't remember saying that. Wait, let me look. Okay. I try my best to help people.
Yeah.
And I am sure it shows. Thank you so very much, Dr. Loretta. It was a great interview. And I am sure that our listeners will appreciate your fun approach and effective.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Friedman, for joining, and thank you, everyone, for listening up to this point. This is the Beljanski Cancer Talk Show, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks.